Hello. Welcome back to another episode. I haven't recorded since like November, but I have been posting. Um, as the title reads, we're going to be discussing how being socially ousted as a kid really affects you growing up and how I personally dealt with it. So, to fully grasp the idea of this episode, we have to understand the definition of being socially ousted, which is being denied entry or being forced out of a group for reasons that only the group could see. Not necessarily though. Like that is what I think it is. This is not the textbook definition of what social ousted is. This is my understanding of it because I went through it. So when I was a kid, I want to say from third grade to like ninth, eighth, I really did get picked on a lot, and I didn't have a big friend group. I was always in my own head in the clouds, being a guy that always like sat and played video games and read books and watched movies. I had my fair share of like, oh, this is fine. This is where I find myself. And then I stopped really trying as hard to like make friends because each time I did, they stopped liking me at all. So I just gave it up. I was like, I'll just have my own thing. Nobody can take that from me. So when I think about it, like when I think about what happened for that long, for like that 7 to 8 years of my life, how it went wrong. Why did I, of all people, have to go through that? Like being picked on. I don't want to say bullied because it wasn't anything physical, it wasn't anything bad. I was just a really sensitive kid. You could say one thing and would really mess with me. So I don't want to say it was something severe or something major. It was a fact that of my own sensitivity, it made me an easy target. And my reasoning for why people didn't like me as a kid was because I went out of my way to make sure that they did. So they saw the image that I put up of them, yes, please, please, please like me. And they didn't see me for who I really am. And this is why it always led me to like being picked on and like made people be repulsed by me. The fact that I was changing myself to kind of curate to the person in front of me, especially as like a young kid, like please like me, made people kind of not know who I really am. So I didn't fit into a category of a group, so I couldn't really join any. So I was just kind of in my own, like I want to say a social chameleon. Like I could curate myself to what you like, so you could please like me. And this is where the social construct of if you're hungry, people won't feed you, especially if you show them. And I had that I had that hunger, I had that sense of like, oh, I'm craving that social interaction, that social validation that I can't get at home. Cause like there's a difference between like, oh, like yeah, they're family, they have to like me. Like he's my dad, she's my mom, that's my brother. They're gonna have to like me. They're gonna have to deal with me for at least the next 18 years. But like getting the validation from outside people as a kid is very important. And multiple studies have shown how holistic development is very shaped by social interactions in your very critical developmental stages growing up, which I went through. I went through these stages with minimal social interaction and social validation, and that kind of left me with a vacuum, especially growing up into adulthood, which, thinking about it now, social ousting led me to develop symptoms of a lot of disorders, which I would never self-diagnose, but it made me aware of what was going on. The biggest of which and most obvious is the social anxiety of it all. It's especially after moving here to the US, like coming from Jordan and just moving here and like meeting new people, I started like comparing like pros and cons of moving here versus there. Big list, but still, the social aspect of it all really affected and really skewed, I want to say the data, it really skewed how I was looking at things. And I found it like kind of weird how my perception of my social status here versus Jordan was really emphasized in the fact that I found my group before I left to the US. I found my people before I left to the US, and that really affected me. But now that I had this vacuum, I don't have my people here. I don't have anybody. This vacuum came back again, and that social anxiety came back with it. I was empty. I didn't have that social validation, at least not as easy as I used to have it with my friends, with my people. So I had to start kind of from scratch. It's like I still was connected. I am still connected with those people to this day, but I had to start from scratch with the actual people I met here. So starting off with that vacuum of social interaction, I had that social anxiety when talking to people. I was worried that they didn't like me because of my accent, of or like how I looked, and I slowly got over it. Talking to my dad, he like walked me through, especially with my perception, and I had a thick accent back then, and he like talked me through it, and I'm thankful for him for talking me through understanding how people perceive me and how it is not my fault, or I shouldn't go out and like fix how they think about me, which still people need to work on. I'm still working on it. So that social anxiety of wanting people to want me and worried about where's the next piece of attention and validation is gonna come from really messed with my head. It really f***ed with me. Moving here was like, damn, now that I don't have this like social group of mine, of people that got my references, my shitty meme jokes, now that I don't have that here, it's like, damn, I really need to like reevaluate where I stand, at least socially. And I had to like break down my social anxiety and like, I don't want to say get over it, I want to say fix it. And it's one thing we need to get clear is that social anxiety isn't like, oh, you're nervous when talking to new people, or like you get nervous from time to time. It's like you're constantly nervous when people are around you. You're constantly like very well aware of like what's going on around you. You're I don't want to say scared, but I don't want to say like you're constantly worried if like people dislike you for no reason. And that's where again this relates back to the social ousting that I went through as a kid. Another big factor was the overthinking that I used to go through, because in the back of the classroom I never fucking paid attention to any of what was going on up front. I never paid attention to classes. So I was always in my own head. My head was up in the clouds. I was somewhere thinking. I was writing. I used to write poetry as a kid. Arabic, English, the whole shebang. I used to write poetry. I used to like write lyrics to songs that I heard. I had a book of fictional stories that I wrote, which kind of they're shit, but I used to do that. I used to think a lot. Since I didn't talk, all I had was my mind and my imagination. I had to think. I sat in the back of the class and just thought for 8 hours a day for, I want to say, 7 years. That's a lot of thinking. So now, me as a kid, I mean, as an adult, me as an adult, I still have that lingering effect of social ousting, of thinking constantly, overanalyzing every situation, overanalyzing everything and not living. And that's where your peace is disrupted. Overthinking, while it's good sometimes, it's great, but overanalyzing every interaction, everything a person says, really is not what you want. It's very will breaking. It is very, I want to say, malproductive to always think about everything. Because if you're always thinking in the future or in the past, you're never in the present, and it's leaving you with this sense of numbness, or like you're not here, you're disassociating, constantly thinking. And this numbness is due to nothing but the fact that you feel too much. And your nervous system is just so overwhelmed by that constant thinking and constant creation of fears, of creating all these scenarios in your head. And it's just overwhelming the shit out of your nervous system, and you're constantly at odds with your own self for no reason. And that really affects me, and it used to affect me a lot. Much more. One last thing I want to say that social ousting as a kid has affected me with is, I don't want to say depression. I don't think I was really depressed, but let's say long-term sadness. I carried a lot of weight with me of multiple stuff, but social ousting was definitely a big part of it. Now, the big question remains, why didn't I get like people involved or like my family? Well, so I used to like walk up to like instructors or like counselors and talk to them about, hey, I'm getting picked on, and be like, okay, let's take a look at it. And they look into it and like see what's actually going on. And once they did, they're like, oh, this guy is gonna keep coming back. We have to shut it down. So they tell me like, hey, you're gonna need to go like get over it. It's a part of life. People are gonna pick at you like on you whenever, however. So it's just like you need to toughen up your armor. And as a counselor, as a person that is helping people, you're being there to help people. You're not supposed to teach me how to swim when I'm drowning. You're supposed to like pick me up first, kind of talk me into how to start swimming, not teach me it while I'm fucking drowning, you know? And that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. They tried to teach me how to swim when I was drowning. And it just made me feel like I was a burden to the school system that was a part of, that I was nothing short of like I was just constantly a pain in the ass. So that's what I expected my family to act. That's how I expected my parents to like look at me like, oh, like you're getting bullied, twin, like yeah, fucking man up or something. Like that's what I expected. So I never opened up to them about it. Like till this day, I don't say till this day. I think I opened up to them like after like 11th grade. I walked up to them and was like, "Hey, do you guys know that I like used to get picked on a lot?" And they were surprised, but it kind of made sense to them since I made myself different. I wasn't really on the same mindset as everybody else. I was like in a whole different world of like things. Like they were focused on like soccer or like sports and whatever. And sure, I was a sporty kid. I did karate or whatever. I did a lot of shit, but I didn't make it my whole personality. I like liked other stuff. You know what I mean? I picked up guitar. I liked other stuff which they saw as like, oh, what the fuck is this, bro? Like this shit is so weird, you know? So I think that my parents were aware of the fact that I was a bit more, I want to say different or like, sure, like odd than the kids around me, but they didn't expect it to be as severe as I told them it was. Yeah, I want to say that it's no one's fault. The adults try to do their part, and I guess I kind of didn't tell them the whole story. I don't want to say it's my fault, but it's something that happened, and we need to not blame anyone, not even myself, not them, not even the people that like actively picked on me, because they were kids. It's like a real mindset of kids of like, oh, you're the strongest, you're the smartest, you're the fastest. I can't blame them. It's like it's part of human nature, I guess, or like people are prone to do that. It's like shit. Yeah, people do that. They're assholes for no reason. But I can't blame them. Like they were kids. Like I've seen them again. I've talked to them like after school, like after we graduated. They're cool now, I guess. They explained that they were kids. They didn't say they were sorry because why would they apologize? But still, now that we understand what social housing is, the examples. Did I give you examples? What what social ousting is, and what it entails in adulthood and growing up. We need to get down to how I realized the severity of the problem and then how I got over it. So, in short, COVID-19 happened, and that's where I realized that I was in deep shit. I was evaluating everything. I want to say, my social life, my hopes, my dreams, my physique as a person, like my body. I evaluated everything during like COVID-19, especially in the first month. I was like looking over everything, the people I want around, the people who I don't want around, and looking at it, the whole thing. Yeah, I looked at it. I was like, this is so messed up. Like, why are my like social life stats so down? Like, why is it that bad? So now I closed the problem. Now I saw the severity of the problem. Now I had to get down to what's missing in me as a person to where I'm easy to pick on. Or like, what am I needing to develop to become a more socially or like generally more like well-rounded person so I don't get like picked on as much. And my 15-year-old self looked at it and was like, yeah, bro, like you need to get swole. And I started working out at home. But then even working out didn't really fix shit. Because you could still be big as and insecure. So I realized that it's a bigger thing. And this is where I landed on psychology. And I started picking up like books and reading and like trying to understand the the human psyche. I started understanding people, how people think, why people think, like picking up random books and just reading hours on end. And that's where I understood that actually no, that's not where I understood it. I was reading How to Make Friends and Influence People. I forgot the writer, but it's a pretty well book. My grandpa read it. Everybody I know read it. It's a pretty good book, and that's where the writer himself said that people will dislike you when you become less genuine, when you curate a whole character for them to like instead of liking you, and it comes across as kind of insecure. It comes across definitely as you're not confident enough in your own skin. You have to kind of shapeshift it to match their ideal of what a good or great person is. So it leaves you with less individuation, less concrete proof of who you really are. It's like less of you, more of what an idea of you is to the person you're meeting. So I had to realize that, oh, I need to become more genuine so I could actually get my, like, the real group I want, like my people, right? To get my people around. So I started focusing on being more myself, being more genuine. And being more genuine entailed that I had to stop overthinking. The biggest way to understand when you're overthinking, how you're overthinking, is that when your head is somewhere else. Your body is like here, but my head is like in Tibet or some shit. That's where you're overthinking. That's where you're like, you're suffering in your own head over some shit that probably didn't happen. You're just thinking. So the biggest way or easiest way to stop overthinking is to realize that this rumination, this bad thinking, you need to reverse it and look at what you have, what you could do, and what you can't do. Does that make sense? And all these three things just make you the baseline, your fortress of solitude. It makes you understand what you have, what you need to work on, and what you need to let go. And that is the formula. If you understand what you need to let go, you understand what you can do and what you can't. If okay, I can't make people like me, so I just let it go. I be myself. What I can do about this is I can be myself. I can grow. I can evolve as a person. I can develop. I can stay disciplined, and that's what I at least can do. This is my will against whatever is coming up next. And understanding what you have, especially in like the social market, sure, can make you set a value for yourself. And the more confidence you have in yourself, the more you max out your stats as a person, the higher, sure, your value becomes, the higher you need to be aware that you're valuable. Like, people want to be around you. And maxing out your stats is the only way to do it, as cheesy and corny as it sounds. So, and this all ties back to development. You need to become a more well-rounded person. You got to understand that there's shit that I have to work on. It is your mind, your body, your soul, your spiritual realm, whatever. You got to work on your schooling, your money, whatever. You got to work on that. Because all this, the void, your unhappiness, right? This void that's happening is because you're not going to be fulfilled unless you're fully whole. And if you were the prettiest in the world, if you were the strongest, had the best family, you were like the wealthiest of all, and you still have this void that needs closing, and you're the only one that can close it. You got to work on that. That's your, like, your psychological and spiritual realm. You can't become fulfilled unless you fill those up, unless you find Lego pieces that fit into that. And until then, all the money, all that muscle, all that like social people around you won't, like all those people around you won't mean shit because you're unhappy inside. And that's for another episode. But last thing that I had to really work on is my how sensitive I was. And multiple YouTube's like searches led me to this one video about becoming less fragile, less easy to break. And the only way to do that is by having an anchor to where you set your standards, your morals, and where you stand and who you are as a person. If your confidence anchor is in people or social validation, it's going to be very easy to break by like people stop talking to you. Like that's easy. Like boom, nobody's going to talk to you anymore. So now your anchor is not there anymore. You ruined it for yourself because you set it on something that's fragile. If you set it up in money, you could go broke in a day. If you set it up in like your muscle, you can get sick and boom, your confidence is gone. So you need to set it up into something that is all there. It's going to be there the whole time, no matter what you do. And that's going to be your spirit, your soul, and who you are, your morals and ethics. And if you're religious, it's going to be God, definitely. God is going to always be there for you if you anchor yourself in God or your ethics and morals or your spirituality, whatever. Those are very good things to anchor your confidence on. Those are great things to have as a base for where you stand. And when you have a good anchor, when your roots run deep, when they run strong, not every like whirlwind is gonna get you down. Not every like mist is gonna come and like break you. Not every whiff of air is gonna like bring you down and break you and make you think you're less. Because you're anchored, you're done, you're good, you're great. To wrap up, social ousting is an actual thing, as we all know. It's a real thing. It happens. It's bad. It does, especially when you're growing up as a kid, it does affect you growing up. And we talked about how like social anxiety, that symptoms of depression and overthinking go into your life as an adult, and how you can break it and like make yourself a better person through personal development, understanding and analyzing your problem. And then, what is the third one? Anchoring your confidence in something that isn't fragile and having your roots run deep and strong. That is, you're going to be good after that, right? Like that is how you come back from a shitty past and stop like dwelling on it. And that's how you become who you're meant to be. يا زلمة روح